Episode 164, 5 Drinks for Midnight. In the show, we bring the questions, guests bring the drinks. We try to wrap up before midnight. Today, we are headed back to Analogue, but this time we're talking to Maggie Gonzalez, Director of Operation and Events. But before we do, like and subscribe, hit the bells, the whistles, leave a comment if you like what we're doing. Let's get started. Action! Thank you so much for joining me. 5 drinks for midnight, 5 drinks, 5 questions, midnight, whatever comes first. Thank you so much for having us at Analogue. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me on the show.
Oh no, it was a huge pleasure. Thank you so much. Guess first question, what are we drinking first?
This is going to be our West 8th, so it's been on our menu for quite some time now, almost since inception. It's got vodka, cucumber, lemon, a little bit of soda water, simple syrups. Very light drinking, delicious. I figured it'd be the perfect drink to start with.
Perfect.
Cheers.
Fuck yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, that's...
When I first started working here, that was all I would order.
That's all right. Love it. All right. So question 1.
Sure.
It's always an origin story.
Mm-hmm.
How'd you get started in the hospitality world?
So I actually got started in nightlife.
Okay.
I worked at Ep2 Ultra Lounge, which was attached to their sister lounge, Pink Elephant. It's actually in the same building, so I didn't have to travel far.
Okay.
And I worked in between both bars. Sadly, they did close down at some point, so I ended up moving across the street to Quo, which was another nightclub.
Okay.
I wasn't there for long. I also ended up working at Santos Party House shortly after that, which is where I got like my first taste in management.
Okay.
And that was exciting. I worked under Andrew WK.
When it's time to party, we will party hard.
Dustspot, and then they sadly closed down as well. I left a little bit before they closed down and landed at House, which was another nightclub. I was there for a little bit of time, kind of wanted to transition out of nightlife.
Oh yeah.
Long hours, lots of intoxicated people, and it just was something that I no longer wanted to deal with. And so I actually went into business for myself, baking.
Okay, awesome.
So got my foot in the door in the events department there,
All right.
in a different way, because obviously you're making cakes. You're not necessarily hands-on with the event planning, but you are contributing to the event. And that was a lot of fun. And then I kind of missed the customer-facing aspect and being on site when it came to stuff like that. And somebody that I had worked with in nightlife for years, his name was Christoph. He was actually the general manager of Analogue at the time.
Okay.
He had reached out to me and told me that they had an event coordinator position open.
Awesome.
He's like, I would love for you to come in and interview. And so stepped in the door almost 8 years ago.
Wow.
And I've been here ever since.
Fuck, that's awesome. That is awesome. But also, I mean, that must have been like a huge change of like jumping from like nightlife where it is like fast-paced, speed turnover.
Super fast-paced.
To going to baking where it's precise, time-based, and then also, but coming here where, yes, I mean, you guys are a really busy bar, but nothing like a club.
No,
yeah.
It's totally different. Two totally different worlds. They operate very, very differently, but I feel like I learned a lot from nightlife, and that translated over into what I'm kind of doing now. But I loved it. It isn't an experience that I would change. I love the way that I kind of got my foot into the door, and I feel like it really helped mold my pace in hospitality, especially on this side. Yeah. But it was great. I loved it.
Do you miss ever being in the nightlife thing, or is it?
I miss the money.
Yeah.
But I do miss it. I mean, it was always a lot of fun. Definitely a different environment. Lots of partying. The music was always very loud. Totally different than what it is here. Yeah.
Awesome. You're our first events coordinator that we've had on the show.
Amazing.
So, branching out. But what is like a day in the life like for you? Like,
yeah. So it varies day to day, which is one of the things that I think I love the most. No day is the same. I've had office jobs prior to working in hospitality, and I hated how like mundane and boring it was. And I'm not gonna lie, you have those days sometimes. But I mean, I have my hand in so many different pots, and I help with every department that no day's ever the same, so it does vary. But my responsibilities predominantly include making sure that the business is ready to open and operate at 4 p.m., making sure that we have everything we need, every day to make sure that we're good to go. And then on events, I think that that's like the fun part of my job, because I get to interact with guests, and get to create memories for them and experiences that they, hopefully remember. Yeah, so we get a lot of first dates here.
Okay.
We've had people who come back and get engaged here.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, and then we've had people host their engagement parties with us.
Very nice, very nice.
Weddings as well. So it's always very touching and very emotional when people have those stories with us, and we're able to contribute to that, to their story.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I bet you've seen some, those are really great, good stories. I bet you've seen some really weird shit, too.
I mean, of course, for sure, in all types of spaces. Nightlife's, I think, more so than not. But here, not so much.
Okay.
We have a pretty good crowd. Yeah.
But like you said, first dates.
Yeah, I mean, some dates go better than others.
Love isn't always in the air.
Nope, not always.
Oh, that's awesome. But also, I mean, your events here are fucking killer. Again, I mean, you guys have the Whiskey Fest.
Our Whiskey Fest, we host. It's our annual event.
Yeah.
And we're actually working on our first Agave Fest. So we're kind of branching out into other spirits, which should be really exciting. I think we're looking to launch in June, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
So that should be really exciting. I've started reaching out to a couple of people to see if they'd be interested in participating. So
nice.
Similar setup to Whiskey Fest, which has been amazing. I think we've hosted one 7 or 8 years in a row.
Yeah.
Probably every year since I've been here.
Yeah.
And they've just gotten bigger and bigger.
Yeah. And again, you're not a super huge bar, but you pack it in, and it's fucking awesome. It really is an event, and the brands and the people that you have that have come, that have been in the festivals here has been absolutely fucking awesome.
Thank you. It's been really amazing to see it grow. Even with brand participation, brands that we haven't had in the past previously joining on board now. And we're just looking to continue and to grow that. It's been really exciting, and I love having a hand in directly connecting with vendors and trying to make that happen. It's been a learning experience for sure.
That's awesome. Well, there we go. That's question 1. See, super easy. Band-Aids stripped off.
Still got a lot of drinking to do.
Cheers. Damn. Question 2, drink 2. What are we drinking?
This is going to be our Downtown Lassie. It's currently my favorite drink on our menu.
Okay.
It's got pineapple-infused aviation gin, chartreuse, yogurt, lemon, and that's it.
Fuck yeah. Awesome. Cheers.
This one I love smelling. It's so good.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Oh, celery.
Oh, there we go. Okay. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's like a sit out on your stoop and just drink that all day long and watch the world go by.
Mouthfeel is my favorite.
Yeah.
It's so good.
That is, hang on, that is exciting.
It's amazing.
Yeah. See? And that's why we do the show. Because again, you just taste something brand new for the first time, and that's so fucking awesome.
I feel like that anytime I go to a bar and I try something that I haven't tried before, or flavors that you wouldn't necessarily think to pair together, I think it's always very, very interesting what bartenders do and how they're able to do it. I, for the life of me, am not good at that, but God bless the bartenders that are, specifically our team, of course, because this one's a hit. Yeah, because either you're like, what fucking kind of genius are you, or you are a sick fuck. It is what the hell? But that is. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's amazing.
That is awesome. Okay, so question 2. Sure. It's a little bit more expansion onto the origin story a little bit. I have to read it just because I want to make sure I have it correct.
Sure.
But it is, what experiences, mentors, or lessons have shaped the way you approach running a venue like Analogue?
It's a loaded question.
It is.
I want to say that probably the biggest influence in how I run Analogue is Jared, one of our owners. So prior to COVID, he was on site, and during COVID, he was on site and running operations. He was here every day. Very hands-on owner, and I think that working with him very closely, the way that I was able to work with him, I kind of picked up on a lot of, I don't want to say tics, but a lot of his habits.
Sure.
He'll walk into the building, he'll tell you that the sconce is backwards. He'll walk into the building and he'll tell you that the bar stool is maybe too far out, or it shouldn't be tucked in. Like, he's very attentive. He wants everything in a specific place.
Yeah.
And
Love it.
He's very hands-on with the experience that his guests get when they walk into the building. And I think that having worked with him before he moved to Texas has helped me run the business in the way that I think he wants it to be run. I also work very closely with our general manager, who is a mentor of mine. I think that he's been very influential in helping me develop professionally. He's got a ton of stories, very much like myself. He started in nightlife as well.
Sure, okay.
And his story is even more interesting. But he definitely helps me see things and makes me very strong. I think that we complement each other very well.
Nice.
And I think that he's played a big role in the way that I am here at Analogue.
Okay.
But yeah, I would say Jared's probably the most. And I think that motherhood too plays a super big role. You learn to juggle a lot.
Yeah.
You learn to tend to the needs of others before you tend to yourself, which is kind of what you do when you work in hospitality. You cater to your guests, you cater to your employees, you cater to everybody. And so I think that those three things have been very helpful in how things get run here.
And your children aren't as whiny as the guests here, so...
No, not my child.
No.
I only have one.
Okay.
She's 16,
Okay.
but she's amazing, and I'm very blessed and very lucky to have her. Yeah.
What advice do you wish you would have gotten earlier in life that you now hold?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
My mom always told me that school was important. And to a certain degree, I think that it is when you think about what people do outside of hospitality. I think that a degree is important, but I don't think that it's the most important thing. But I wish that I would have continued my education into college, which is something that I stress very much with my child now. But I think that, everybody has their own story, and it's meant to go the way it's supposed to go for each person, and I think that just wasn't in the books for me. A college education couldn't have paid for the experience that I had at the age that I had it, and even now. So I think that it is important.
You agree?
My mom always said, just as long as you're happy doing whatever you're doing, then that's all that matters.
Yeah. No, I agree. But
I wish.
Yeah.
I might have ended up somewhere else. Maybe
No,
not
but-
having to work long nights.
Yeah.
But I love what I do, so.
So yeah, exactly. Like, as long as you're happy and it,
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of always take the approach of the way the Japanese handle the careers, of that it's like, if you're going to be a street sweeper, you're going to be the best damn street sweeper there is. You don't need like an again, if you don't want, like, college isn't for everybody.
Yeah.
But, then just make sure you find something that you are happy with, and stuff like
I think my mom she was the greatest example in terms of a work ethic. She was a single mother, 2 kids, and she worked her ass off. And I think that, I apply that in all aspects of my life, especially when it comes to work. Some people would say I work too much.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, people could say a lot of things, so then they don't know, and then you don't get to drink this shit.
Yeah.
This is awesome. And then our last follow-up question, because again, I got asked this in a previous interview, and I've been using it now, and I think it just ties in rather well to this conversation. But what legacy do you want to leave behind?
In hospitality or in general?
I mean, you can do either or. I mean, I figured if in general might be too personal, but I was thinking more of
I think that I want to make a lasting impact in the people that I do come across. I think that it's very important to treat people the same way you would want to be treated. I treat everybody with respect. I don't think I've ever been rude or anything other than sweet and nice and very welcoming. I just think that would be my legacy. I want people to feel like I always treated them like they were somebody.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, there we go.
Simple,
but fucking effective and thought-provoking. So, cheers.
Cheers. And
I didn't even see the nails. Like, oh, yeah.
We're getting ready.
Yeah, that's...
We're a week out.
The theme is... Question 3, what are we drinking?
So we're going back to classics.
Very nice.
Whiskey sour.
Very nice. Cheers.
Cheers. Whenever I was interviewing bartenders, this would be my make or break drink.
Okay.
Let me taste your whiskey sour.
All right.
And I think we're very good at making classics here, so
Very
this is one of my favorites.
Very, yeah. Egg white, no egg white?
Egg white.
Egg white.
Always.
Always?
I
Okay.
mean, to me, that's just the way I prefer it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. True classic. All right. And then bourbon rye.
Sazerac rye.
Very nice.
Yeah.
See? Fuck yeah. Here. Not question 3, but do you have any other bartender tests that you do that we can know about?
I think it's just mostly technique. I want to see how you handle pressure.
Okay.
Which, nerves I think are understandable, especially when you're coming into a bar that you're not familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to figure out where everything is. I think that just displaying some form of confidence, even if you don't know where things are,
Sure.
acting as though you do.
Yep.
But I think that the first thing that's always very important is when we interview, I act as though I'm a guest.
Okay.
So I'll pick 3 cocktails that I like.
Okay.
One is typically stirred, one is shaken, and then one is always a whiskey sour.
All right.
But your interaction with me as you're building drinks is most important.
Okay.
So how you handle me if I were a guest.
Sure.
And Josh, our head bartender, he actually aced it the first time
Oh,
he
very
came in
nice.
and interviewed. Put the coaster down. So how's your day going? As he's building the cocktail, which is amazing because a lot of bartenders sometimes don't always have that customer interaction at the bar because they're so swamped with tickets, that I think it's so important to have that personalized feel when you walk into a bar and sit down, even if he's busy, that he's paying attention to you.
Very nice.
Yeah.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so question 3, we call this our talking shit segment because
Okay.
we've had 3 drinks and
Yep.
we're a little bit now more open, comfortable. The nerves have calmed down. We know what we're getting into. But what's one thing that you wish people understood about hospitality?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I think that it would probably have to be that everybody is important. That goes from the customer to the porter. Everybody contributes to the experience. And I think that when you think about it like that, your engagement with people changes. We're in the hospitality business. It's all about relationships and forming relationships. That's how you form regulars. That's how you form relationships with certain reps or certain liquor companies. I think that it's all relationship based, and how you treat people ultimately leads to that. But also that every role is important, right?
Yeah.
The industry, the hospitality industry is a machine.
Yeah.
If it doesn't function at the lowest point, it doesn't function at
Yeah.
all. And so you have to maintain that type of mindset, I think, that every role is important. Everybody contributes to the experience that the guest has.
Agreed. Again, if it doesn't work from your porter or bar back up, like...
Correct.
It doesn't,
if the place is dirty, I mean,
it just doesn't
you're getting
work.
nowhere.
It doesn't work. So, what's one piece of advice that you'd give to like an upcoming bartender or somebody who wants to apply here?
Practice.
Okay.
Learn. Ask questions. I mean, there's so many things that I could say. I came into this industry, again, coming from nightlife, where we don't do house cocktails.
Right.
Everything is high volume, so you're pouring vodka sodas, rum and cokes.
Yeah.
I mean,
Quick and easy, get them out. Yeah.
the bottom of the bottom when it comes
Yeah.
to drinks. People don't care about what they're
Yeah.
drinking. They're there to get drunk, have a good time. Analogue, we're more focused on cocktails, on classics, making sure that everything's consistent. And so it's totally different. if you're a high volume bartender, you will, especially if you come from nightlife, you'll prosper in an industry like this. But it's a lot about learning the basics. I had to expand my palate and drink all types of things. I remember when I first started working here and I had my first sip of whiskey, I was like, this is disgusting. Like, how do people drink this? Like, I could not for the life of me understand what people were talking about. Like, when they would tell me what they would taste, I was like, I get nothing but fucking rubbing alcohol. Like, what are they talking about? But little by little, tasting and educating myself, it was something that I learned. You know, everybody's palate is different. You're going to pick up on different things, and it's just something that you have to stay consistent at and be passionate about so that you can keep learning about it. I think that that's the most important thing. If you're hardworking and willing to learn, you're teachable. Yeah.
You talked about whiskey, and again, your whiskey collection is
insane.
It's really good.
Yeah.
But like not even just that, but like you have other like your back bar is just fucking awesome. So it is really a beautiful back bar. How would you just for somebody who doesn't know what Analogue is, how would you describe it?
So the brand Analogue is very much in the name, right? The owner wanted to create a space where you could come and have a conversation with a friend, where the music wasn't too loud, where you could exist in a place where social media and telephones weren't a thing. Our Wi-Fi service here is terrible. It is, and it's done purposely.
Yeah, okay.
It forces you to engage with the person that you're in front of and have that conversation that you might not be having because one of your friends might be on the phone or might be taking selfies. It's a different type of experience here, and I think that that's what we really focus on, like interactions, socializing. So
awesome.
I do love that about us.
Yeah.
Whenever they ask me if we have Wi-Fi, I'm always very happy to say no.
No, we do not.
Yeah.
Talk to somebody.
Yeah.
Like
take it back to the old days. Where phones weren't a thing.
Yeah. Do you have, so since you said like you started here and you did not like whiskey, do you have a favorite spirit of choice?
I do.
Right.
I love Balvenie, but I also love Claremont Steve. I will drink that neat all day, every day. That's kind of my go-to when I'm at home and I need to decompress. That's typically what I'm popping and pouring myself.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Very nice. And then too, I call it the kind of like the Cheers effect of like, there was always, Norm Peterson walks into Cheers.
What's the story, Norm? Thirsty guy walks into a bar. You finish it.
Says hi, and by the time he gets to his seat, he's got a beer waiting for him. Mm-hmm. You, not drinking here, walk into a place, you say hi, by the time you sit down, what cocktail's waiting for you? What is your signature cocktail?
So we're actually drinking it.
Okay. The sour?
This is my go-to.
Okay.
Like if I'm at a cocktail bar, like a cocktail bar that knows what they're doing, this is what I'm ordering.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Fuck yeah, that is awesome.
I love me a good whiskey sour. I would say the only other thing I'd probably order is a penicillin.
Okay.
Both are two of my favorite drinks.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, fuck. There we go. I'm out of questions. So, there we go. Cheers.
Cheers.
Question 4, drink 4. What are we drinking?
Naked and Famous.
All right.
Del Maguey Puebla Mezcal, chartreuse, lemon. Classic again, and one of my go-tos whenever I'm out.
Very nice.
Cheers.
I love that you keep saying when I go out I drink this. From now on I think we just have to go out. Like this is. Oh, yeah.
Just such a good cocktail.
You cannot go wrong with that. Like that is.
Great introductory drink also to somebody who doesn't typically like mezcal.
Yeah.
Doesn't like that smoky drink. I think that it's phenomenal.
You cannot go wrong.
No.
That is. Oh. I love it. Alright. So, question 4 is something new that we're doing. We're asking previous guests to answer or ask our new guests a question. This question comes from Matt Chavez from Kogodek. So, here is our question.
If you were to build a themed bar, what is the theme and how is it?
Probably be my wedding.
Okay.
No, I kid. I think that
Weddings and bars are awesome.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, mine would probably be held at a sports bar.
Okay.
Simple, easy. I think that I would definitely want a sports bar wedding. Like,
all right.
that would be my ideal thing. But no, I think that money should never be an issue when it comes to hosting an event. I think that a lot of it is just ambiance and energy, right? You want to look around the room and you want to make sure that your guests are smiling and laughing and having a great time. I'd probably throw something in there where it's an experience. I went to a couple of events that were amazing. They had stuff that I probably wouldn't have done otherwise. I think that tying something into that would probably be great. If I were being honest, I'd probably throw a mean like tailgate event.
Okay, yeah, awesome.
That would be my go-to. Green colors.
Okay.
You know, for my team, that would be ideal. Great drinks.
Yeah.
Themed cocktails. Great open space. But I think that definitely. I think that it's more important that everybody's having a good time.
Yeah.
I don't think that money is necessarily an issue when it comes to having an event. I've hosted events with people who had smaller budgets and still had an incredible time.
Yep.
And I think that that's the most important thing when it comes to hosting events.
Well, I agree.
At least for me. Like, I don't think money should ever be an issue.
Yeah,
right?
that's the perfect follow-up because I agree with you. But yeah, I think people make the event, and that's what. So, who would you invite, and what would be your signature event to your tailgate party?
Who
or
would I
wedding,
invite?
or whatever.
I think that everybody that I know would definitely be on the guest list. That's like a no-brainer.
Okay.
I think that you work so much that the people that you work with oftentimes become your friends.
Yeah.
And if you get lucky enough, sometimes they become family.
Yeah, that's...
So they would definitely be on the guest list.
Yeah.
And then in terms of signature cocktails...
Because again, we've had 4 fucking amazing drinks.
We
and
have.
Like, you kept going, this is also one of my favorites. This is also one of my favorites, which is agreed and awesome. But like, what would be the signature drink?
Well, since I'm hosting the events,
yeah.
It would have to be a margarita.
Okay.
Because that is my government name.
Okay.
Named after a cocktail. I mean,
perfect.
Born to be in this industry.
Yeah.
So it would have to be a classic margarita.
Okay.
Simple.
All right.
Maybe with a tahini rim because I'm a little spicy sometimes. But that would be my signature drink.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Classic and simple.
Perfect. There we go. We're doing a tailgate wedding party with margaritas.
Add a little food coloring just for the team.
Just for the team. Yeah. So, my stupid follow-up bar question.
Sure.
Do you think that? Nice, but because I have this conversation with a lot of people. Do you think the bar makes the people, or do the people make the bar?
I think that the people make the bar.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that you're only going to be as successful as your guests think you're going to be.
Okay.
I think that they definitely set the tone. A lot of the customers that we get here are repeat customers. Specifically with events, it's a lot of word of mouth.
Okay.
We do get a lot of emails, don't get me wrong, but a lot of the emails that we do have coming in are, my friend hosted an event and she had a great time and referred me to you, or I was a guest at an event and I had a great time and I would love to host my event with you. So I think that your clientele definitely plays a role in how successful of a bar you're going to be. I think that it's equally important that you're putting out product that is of quality.
Oh, absolutely.
But I think that it goes hand in hand. But for sure, it's definitely down to the customer, right? When I think about me as a customer and when I go to bars, so I have this one bar that I go to, Bobby's Night Out.
Okay.
The cocktails are not great. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But I love it. My drink there is a classic margarita. And I go there, it's a neighborhood bar. It's in Alphabet City, 10th Street and Avenue C. But I go there because of the bartenders. They, that feeling that you get when you walk into a bar and they know your name. And it feels like your family with every other guest that's there too is like something money cannot buy.
Yeah.
Like, you can pay for a $30 cocktail and not get that experience.
Yes.
And they have ladies' night on Monday and Tuesdays, and the drinks are $5.
Excellent.
And they're not the best, but it's all about the energy.
No, well, absolutely. I totally agree. Charles Jolie talked a lot about it.
Yeah.
And he was like, he's like, I'd rather have a shitty drink and great service than a great drink and shitty service.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's the same. No one's ever complained about a drink, like being like, oh yeah, that's not for me. No one's bad. I'm like, like no, but they complained about shitty service, and that's the point. But yeah, I totally agree with you. I would rather go into a bar and have like floor mat whiskey drained into a cup, as long as they're like, hi, welcome back. Like I would fucking drink that with a smile.
I love that.
It may not be the best thing in the world, but you know what? It's just the event, the ambiance.
It makes you want to keep going back, and it's just you can't. You know, people go to bars when they're having a bad day, when they're having a good day, when they're celebrating, when they're for anything that you can think of. People go to a bar, right?
Yeah.
And it could just be a date night, a first date, catching up with girlfriends.
Yeah.
Like there's so many things that people go to bars for, and I just think that personalized experience is what makes you want to keep going back. And it's something that is hard to find, I think, in the New York City bar scene nowadays, unless you're like a regular. But to have that feeling from the very moment that you walk in, which is what I experienced at Bobby's Night Out, that keeps me going back.
That's
like,
awesome.
I will forever be a patron of theirs because of that.
No, but that's
they're great.
Like that, and you're right, because the New York scene, there's so many, like people ask me like, where should we go on a Friday, Saturday? I'm like, home. Like you don't go home, like do not go out on a Friday and Saturday.
It's hectic.
Yeah, like it is the worst night to go out because there's just amateurs out. Like you want to go out on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Go meet industry people. Go out on a Tuesday. Go out on a Wednesday. Like honestly, like that's the thing. Like
no, and it's so hard to get into places that are hot spots on those primetime nights that you're better off trying to get in on a Sunday, Monday, Tuesday when it's significantly slower than trying to go during peak times. And honestly, 9 times out of 10, you'll probably have a better experience on those days because it's significantly slower that you probably wouldn't have on like a Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Like and too, like you said, the idea of becoming a regular kind of thing, and like that for me, that was the best. That's the one piece of advice that I still carry with me, like across the board, is that the first thing you should ever do is become a regular at a bar, because that your barman is going to be the best thing in your world. They're your real estate agent. They're your doctor. They're your shrink. They're like. I say hookup, but like not the idea of hookup, but like the idea of like they're gonna be like, have you met this person?
Yeah, for
they're
sure.
your connector. Like that's the idea. The bar is so many things, and you nailed it perfectly because it's like you're coming in. It could be a meetup of friends. It could be, you know what, I'm having a bad day. I just want to just be left alone and read my book, but at least you know that you can come here and do that kind of thing, and that bar is built to like embrace your whatever. Like,
absolutely. I mean, the bartender at Bobby's Night Out. His name is, funny enough, Bob, but he's not the owner.
He's not the owner.
Is phenomenal. Like when it comes to customer service, I think that he's very, very welcoming and just like such a great guy that it's like, and it's funny because every other friend that I've brought there, he pumps out that same energy, and so they also love going there because of him.
Nice.
And I think that that's something that's also important in our industry, right? The people that work there ultimately keep people coming back, and I think that that's something that can sometimes be overlooked. Like it's not so much about talent who can pump out the fastest drinks, it's who can connect with your customers. And I think that that's super important. Like that's what we do.
Yeah, that's the most important thing. Like that.
For
like,
sure.
Yeah, like no one wants that bartender looking down at you or like being judgmental kind of thing.
No.
Like, I have a lot of problems with that. Like that is.
I do too. I mean, I just don't think that that's what our industry is.
Yeah,
I think that you know you cater to the customer, and making them feel like you've seen them a million times before is like super important. I can't remember the bar. Gary always talks about this, how, you know, when customers went into that specific bar, this one bartender would always remember every single person's name and what their go-to drink was. And having that type of skill and being able to read your guests is a skill in itself.
Yeah, no, and because I am terrible with names. Like
I am too.
I like people will come up to me and say hi, and then they'll be like,
who are they?
Exactly. I was like, fuck. but more importantly, like I can remember what they were drinking when we met, but like I can't be like I was like, fuck, yeah, nope, and like I'm terrible with names, but you know the people that have that skill are absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
It blows my mind.
Yeah.
Like that is like
it definitely adds to the experience, which I think is super important. Yeah. I mean, I love that walking into a bar where I feel it makes you feel like you're VIP the second you walk in the door.
Yeah.
You cannot. There's nothing that beats that.
Well, no, and that's why I was saying like that's the norm experience. So like cheers, like what, like he'd come in and then everybody would say hi, and then like by the time he got to he had a beer, and like that I love that.
Yeah.
Like now we know margaritas. So like
Margaritas,
there we
you
go
know?
with the tahini rims. So
That's right.
There you go.
And he does know that that's my drink. The second I sit down, he's like margarita tahini rim. I'm like yes.
Because again, but the bartender is gonna like try to make your day better.
Yeah.
Like, and I think that is just one of the most like important jobs about a bar that no one really talks about.
For sure.
Like everybody always was like, oh, alcohol and alcoholism, and again, those are very serious things.
Very serious, especially in our industry. That is important to note. But I think that you're right.
But like the idea that like you walk in, you sit down, and then the bartender, like, it's like, hey, you like whiskey?
Yeah.
Here's this cocktail.
Yeah.
Boom, done. Let me know what you think. And you're like, yeah, you fucking remember? Like that like that's...
It's great.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Like that is...
Agreed, 100%.
There we go.
Yeah, he definitely makes my experience every time.
There we go. Way to go, Bobby.
Better. Go, Bob.
Cheers. Last drink of the night.
Last drink of the night. This is going to be our namesake cocktail, the Analogue.
Okay.
So it's got Old Forester Bourbon 100, Dos Maderas rum, allspice, velvet falernum, ginger.
Fuck yeah. Can't go wrong.
Can't go wrong.
Cheers. Yep. Wow. Yeah, that is fucking delicious.
It's a good nightcap.
Yeah, it's not even midnight yet.
No.
Wow. Oh, that is so good. Alright, so, question 5 comes down to the flip of the Whiskey Wednesday coin.
Okay.
You can flip it, you can spin it, you can do whatever you want.
Okay.
The coin will give us the answer.
Okay.
You don't have to answer.
Okay.
But I'm sure you probably will answer.
Okay, let's hear it.
But, so, from our social stalking, research that we've done on you.
Yes.
Other than cats, the one thing that I found is that you extremely love the Philadelphia Eagles.
I do. That is my team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, question 5, will the Eagles win the Super Bowl?
I mean, I don't think that that's a question. I already know the answer to that. We fucking will. Sorry for my French, but...
We're an adult show. You can say it.
We're going to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Okay.
I feel bad for any Chief fans or anybody that doubts us. I don't know what to say.
Yep.
We're going to take it home.
All right.
Yeah. Am I spinning?
Yeah, I don't think you have to. You've already told us.
Good.
Like, it doesn't even...
we already know it's going to happen.
Yeah,
Mark my words.
You could see if the coin works in your favor, but again, I don't think we even need to.
It's worth it. I'd be curious to see if it does. We're going to spin.
Because if not, it's just going to be defective, and then we just throw it away.
Yeah,
so,
and then, this is not working.
Yeah. You could spin.
I'd be curious.
That's fuck yeah.
I mean, can we cheers to that?
Yeah, damn right we can.
Fuck.
What made you a Philly fan?
So, I get this question a lot because I'm from New York.
Exactly,
so
that's why I was...
Naturally, people would think that I would be either a Jets fan or a Giants fan, but...
Giants. Yeah. No one's a Jets fan.
No. And even a Giants fan, come on. Like, have we not lost hope?
Yeah.
So I did not grow up in a sports household.
Okay.
My mom was not the type of person who watched sports at all, at least from what I can remember from my childhood. Nowadays, she does argue with me and say that she was a huge football fan.
Okay.
That she just didn't think that was something we would be into.
All right.
I call bullshit, but you know, for the benefit of the doubt, I say okay, sure, whatever.
Sure.
I went to school in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
I went to school in Bryn Mawr, Rosemont College. It was an all-girls college, and my first interaction with, or my first experience with football was there.
Okay.
My roommate Allison was a huge Eagles fan, and the first time that I actually saw the Eagles play was when they went to the Super Bowl that year. And I fell in love with that like Philly energy,
All right.
and that like fan base, and again, never had any experience when it came to football, and I just fell in love with the vibe of the city at that time, that I vowed to be an Eagles fan forever.
All right. Awesome. I love it.
And so I have been ever since, and I think we've had a phenomenal season, and I'm looking forward to us taking the championship home.
I agree. I mean, let's hope that, you know, you don't have to play the refs as well. So, like, that's the...
I mean...
Fucking Chiefs got it way
people
too easy.
say it's fucking rigged. It probably is, but, like, no. We're fighting our way towards the end. Yeah,
so
for
what
sure.
Game last week was just,
Phenomenal. Phenomenal. I was on the edge of my seat, and I was so excited, and it was such an amazing game that honestly, I cried. I was super emotional.
No, I'm glad we postponed, because I was like, she would have been pissed if we missed, like, just the half of that. Like,
I've watched every single game, and it's just, it's been amazing. I went to my first Eagles game this year on the 5th of January, and it was honestly the best experience I've ever had. I've been to a Jets game before, and it was just not the same. Like, Philly is a whole different beast. Like, people don't understand like how deep their love for football goes. Like, it's insane.
It's an amazing sports town.
Yeah.
Stuff like that,
It is.
If there was one person from the Phillies, let's go back to question 3, that if we were gonna like have our wedding and sports bar margaritas, if there was somebody from the Phillies that we'd want to invite up, who would it, do you have a favorite player?
I do. I have a few. But I think that the one person that I would probably have to have there is Saquon Barkley.
Of course. Bring him back to New York.
I think that he's amazing, and what he's been able to do with this organization is just like insane. I think that he said something 2 weeks ago that, you know, Gary, our general manager, makes a lot of references to sports in hospitality, and how it's a team sport, right? You're only as strong as your weakest player, and everybody plays a role in getting you to the end. And I think that the tie between the two is very, very similar. But I also think that him as a player individually, I think that he's done some amazing things, and he's such a selfless player. Like, when he plays the game, he really plays for the team. It's not for himself. He could have beaten the record on Jan 5th in terms of yards, and he didn't. Like, he decided to rest, and that says a lot. Like, and he said it himself, like, you know, the overall game, the goal is the Super Bowl, not beating records. And I just think that he's a phenomenal player.
Well, I love it. Well, there we go. Okay, that's 5 drinks down, 5 questions answered. What a true fucking pleasure drinking with you today.
Likewise.
Until we can do it again.
Yes.
Thank you so much for having us at Analogue. Cheers to you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you again. This has been amazing.
Likewise.
Cheers.
Thank you. Cheers.